like to accept questions now. Yes?
This question is from Ms. Butts. In regards to the environment, how is globalization affecting world resources?
Oh, I'd like to thank you for your question, Mr. Martinez, and I'll answer that now. Since globalization of nations is such a fast-paced phenomenon, industrialized nations are quickly depleting the non-renewable energy resources such as fossil fuels at an alarming rate. If we don't slow down our progress, we will run out of non-renewable energy before we can come up with a new way to produce enough renewable energy to keep our current industries operating. In addition, the amount of pollution that is being produced by the industrialized nations is quickly depleting our ozone layer and heavily contributing to global warming. It is important that if we continue on our current path of globalization, we must simultaneously continue searching for ways to help major industries become more sustainable. Sustainability is not only important to the US, but it is important abroad as well. The world's resources are ours to share, and they are everyone's responsibility.
This question's for Laura. If you're so against globalization, do you support bringing foreign investment to the United States?
Thank you for that question, and of course, I do support bringing foreign investment to the U.S. With the skills that other markets have to offer around the world, I would be glad to welcome foreign investment in the States. The specialized foreign workforces are welcome to come as well and make use of our jobless American citizens, at least with a business from other countries coming in instead of vice versa. The United States is able to capitalize and possibly learn from its foreign competitors, which in turn can lead the U.S. to becoming a more viable competitor in the world job market.
I have a question for Mr. Brent. Was there any companies that weren't able to succeed internationally?
Thank you very much for that question. There may be specific cases of companies not succeeding internationally, but the overarching theme is that this new international market opens up a new door for most companies. There have none that I know of have failed specifically because they went abroad. Other contributing reasons might be the structure of the management or any other common problems. But the overarching theme, like just as Ethan Siegel could prove with his high-end stereo systems, that even such a small company can make it in a very big world.
So, Mitch, you talked about, you said a horrible, unfathomable import-export imbalance.
Yes, I did.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
As America today, we have a consumeristic idea of how our country should be run. We only spend time and money buying different things, whether it be products or services that are shipped in from out of our country. Our country isn't known across the world as the most work ethic and manufacturing nation in the world. So we focus most of our energy on shipping things in and not sending anything out. And that's where these small businesses, like I mentioned before, with Ethan Siegel, to have this new focus coming in of our products being serviced and bought out of the country is bringing in new revenue that we were only spending before.
Question for you, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about stress with your customers. Can you talk a little bit more about what causes that stress, how it's manifested?
Sure. In foreign markets, specifically stress with new customers, it's difficult first to span the foreign gap with the differing cultures and whatnot. And then also, back in the US, there's a strain on customer-company relationships when the company is too focused on, diversifying their products and moving across into another country. Customers who have supported small businesses or, American-based companies for years are often left in the dust and not very well considered during the process of a company moving across to international borders.
Juliann, a question for you. You were talking about, you said many companies fail to realize that going global exploits, and you talked about cheap labor and that sort of thing. Do you have some specific examples of those exploitations?
No, I don't have specific examples available to me right now, but I can give you a general idea that oftentimes when multinational corporations go abroad, they're accused of like a number of social injustices, including unfair working conditions such as like slave labor wages and poor living and working conditions for their workers, as well as like a lack of concern for the environment and mismanagement of natural resources. With that being said, in America, if you were working for an American company, that wouldn't fly. Like you definitely, excuse my words, that wouldn't fly, was not appropriate. That would not be appropriate for your, in the workplace, and you would and the employer would definitely be charged in some way. So I think I was talking more of a general specific, but I don't have a specific for you, I'm sorry.
This question is going to Ms. Fuller. How do you feel about local businesses going international, as in like not the big corporations going international, but something where, or being able to import international goods to sell inside their local store?
Sure, as I said, I'm all for bringing in foreign investment, so importing would be great. As for small businesses, there are plenty of benefits for small businesses going international if they're able to keep up with the competition and if they have the finance available and the time. I'm sure after once they invest and then after a certain period of time, eventually they may start to see their profits rise again, but mostly it's just going to be detrimental to the small business. And the failure rate, I'm not sure on the exact number, but it's about half of all small businesses that try to go international fail within the first 5 years, which is a pretty big number, and that's very detrimental to the U.S. because not only are the small businesses being removed from the United States, but the ones who fail aren't able to, come back and regenerate their business.
Thank you.
I have a question for Mitch. When you talked about how you worked with Ella Bean when you helped him go abroad to Japan, what kind of operation did you do? Did you do a joint venture, or did they just solely export, or what was?
They specifically opened new stores over in Japan. They also employ their own Japanese, they employ the Japanese people. So if you're looking for some sort of specifics on what, I guess I'd like some clarification on the question if you could.
Like if it was either a joint venture, like the company Ella Bean went with another Japanese company and they combined in Japan.
Okay.
Or they solely exported their products to Japan and Japan was able to use their products at their stores, but the profits would go to Ella Bean.
Thank you, that was very helpful. It was definitely sole export. They opened up LL Bean stores specifically. There was no other partnerships. Would you like any more further explanation? All right, thank you.
Any more questions? All right, we thank you for coming here to our panel. We are very pleased to know, we are very pleased to have you here, and even more pleased to know that we could inform you on global expansion, or on the global marketplace. That's it.